From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
A nice toasty afternoon here in downtown Salt Lake City. This is 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is great to be back with you. Thanks for watching the show over the course of the last week and a half here. We are excited to bring this to you. We have a lot of things to talk about here today, but once again, wearing a suit jacket and it's hot outside. Chase is doing the same thing.
Yeah, what are we doing?
We had to be together. I don't know. We'll maybe take the suit jacket off tomorrow. But when you're looking at what we have right now, a kind of wash, rinse, repeat minus the rinsing and the washing, it's just a lot of hot sunshine on us.
Yeah, it's actually a couple degrees. Feel that because the humidity is a little bit higher here in northern Utah, but that humidity is a lot higher down in southern Utah, and that's where we're tracking a few thunderstorms again. But today, even with that moisture, we're seeing a little bit more flash flooding. So a lot more flash flood warnings out across portions of Washington and Kane County, Zion National Park, all those slot canyons down in southern Utah, normally dry washes, prone to flash flooding. That's why we have that beautiful terrain. We are seeing active flash flooding right now because of these monsoon thunderstorms.
Before we get to our next weather maker, I know that you shared some video last night. We will take a look at that video coming up in a few minutes when we head into the content center. But there was some storms moving through the area that showed us that these burn scars are susceptible to just letting loose, and that debris comes down, and it's really a dangerous situation.
Well, if you think about it, especially 90,000 acres or whatever, that vegetation is burnt. That holds that ground. When you can't have that vegetation, or really mudslides to happen because of these monsoon thunderstorms. And it looks like we're going to see monsoon thunderstorms every single day, and probably even more going forward. So if you live near a burn scar, or maybe there's a river or a creek behind your house close to a burn scar, you have to maybe think about sandbags or the potential for flash flooding going forward for the next 7+ days.
Taking a live look in the Cache Valley for you this afternoon, just after 3:30. Yesterday, I imagine some things stay similar based on the pattern that we have here, but anything stand out to you over the next couple of days?
Big ridge of high pressure right now is hanging out closer to the Four Corners, and that will continue to kind of stay put. That means hot temperatures. That also means relatively low, around 10 to 20%, but they're going to be higher as we head into the weekend. So as that high, which is our next weather maker, it's our weather maker right now, doesn't really move over the next 7+ day, we're going to start to see more of those monsoon. They do not develop in the valleys, but eventually they drift off the mountains, and then that's when we see those impacts here in the valley.
Okay, a lot of us would like to see some sort of moisture. It'd be nice. Obviously, overnight is always beneficial. Doesn't interrupt the plans. We will keep checking in with you here on 2
I'm
News
thinking
at 4
by
o'clock.
Friday, we'll talk more about those rain chances. They go up a bit by Friday and over the weekend for the valleys.
Okay, good to know. Before you go here, we're going to have a little conversation here. I want to tease it. I want to keep people with us here.
It's a big talker on social media.
It is a big talker on social media. I know that you talk about this a couple times a year.
Sure.
On social media. Daylight saving time, you guys like to put S's in there too. Like Zion has no S, same thing. We have a live look in Salt Lake in the Valley area right now for you, but we will talk daylight saving time.
Right. Or standard time.
Or standard time times, and we will talk about that in just a few minutes. So stick around for that. I will take that microphone for you, sir, and I will see you inside in just a moment here. Again, this is 2 News Live, and we have a lot of things that we are trying to look into here. We are getting close to back to school time, and a lot of parents would like to know, hey, what is it that we do getting ready for school? Have things changed? What's going on behind the scenes for that? We have a conversation here with Brian Will, and by the way, Brian Will was down there the other day, and now he is kindly holding the door for us. I'll let you head in first.
Thank you, Brian.
First off, what's in the cup, Brian?
Well, a little chai tea latte. Big day here. We got a new coffee maker.
Big deal.
This is a big deal in news because you need the caffeine to keep you going. So we were probably 20 minutes around the water cooler. New coffee maker.
New coffee maker. Also talking about something that people can relate to back to school, the water cooler conversation. What did you find out today about how some school districts are preparing to go back in just a matter of weeks now?
Yeah, so I talked to Alpine School District today. They have 90 facilities to get ready for back to school. And unlike other buildings like this one we're in, they can do their major maintenance when it's during the summer. They have to wait until summer for any upgrades to kitchens, to gym floors, to painting, to any of the stuff they have to do in the school. So that's what they do, all their major maintenance. And they're also opening a new elementary school this year. But other big news for the district, this is their last year as the Alpine School District before they split into 3 different districts. So no major new projects for them before this major split.
So as we walk inside here, we need to know a little bit more about what happens with Alpine. I know you've covered this in the past as well, too. It's a dividing situation here, so they said, hey, we got to pump the brakes on a lot of these things?
Yeah, so they're dividing into 3 different districts, and so they're trying to get, it's going to be easy for the teachers and people who are working in those buildings. Simply, they're just joining the new districts. The communications person I spoke to today, he's joining the central district, but there's a lot of stuff they still have to figure out going into this big split that they're going to be doing.
So next up, did you talk about anything for parents here? If there's anything that parents should be doing leading into the traditional school year, if you will. Obviously, there's the essentials. You know, if you can, you stock up on all the supplies and get the backpack ready, and all the kids have their wants and needs. But what about the school district? What did they talk about in terms of families getting ready?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things they said, which I think is really helpful, is getting mentally prepared. So getting that routine set up. So going to bed early to be able to get up in time for school. Also knowing where your children's school route is at and how to get to school, and kind of mapping that out as well, along with getting the supplies, clothes, and other stuff you usually do with back to school. Because, you know, back to school means new clothes, maybe new suit.
I would need a new suit, yes, if I were back in school. Absolutely. I would change the color, though, because it doesn't do well with the heat.
True. You need to lose a layer for that.
Lose a layer and get a cup of coffee. Brian, thank you very much. So back to school, that's the big conversation here as we have a live look from up here. Wave to everybody back at home. Here's Megan. We're in the content center right now, I believe, as we were supposed to be. And we're going to get over here and talk about just kind of the things that Chase and I were looking at, which was that burn scar, which was the flooding that can come with it. What do we have on the socials right now?
Yeah, so top of everyone's minds still right now is the Cottonwood Fire. It's burned about 100,000 acres in Paiute and Beaver counties. And you can see right here, crews are starting to get worried about all these floods that are forecasted. So you can see we've got mud coming in, the water's knocking down some trees over here, and it's creating some pretty dangerous conditions. And so that's something that they're wanting to keep an eye on right now. You can see it's just the water's rapidly flowing. And then over here we have a video taken from one of our viewers. He sent it to us yesterday. This is right where he lives. He lives by this creek, and you could just see kind of the force of that water that's coming down. And we also have this live look up on our YouTube right now. It's from the Division of Emergency Management, and it's just, this is what it's looking like in that area. So it's expected to get worse with the rains that are coming, so just a good thing to be aware of.
And then the other topic on our website, which I haven't taken a deep dive into, and I know it's of interest because there's been so much interest in this story pertaining to plug-in solar, and we hear about this almost every day in our newsroom. We talk about the general interest in this topic. Where did the interest come from, and what do we have?
Yeah, so our Christina Flores about 2 weeks ago posted this video to our YouTube, and it is one of our top stories right now. It's doing so well. We have about 1,400 comments of people asking questions all about plug-in solar. You know, is it safe? Is it cost effective? What are the benefits? So we posted this story about an hour ago, and it will answer all of those questions for you. So you can find this on our homepage, KUTV.com, and it's top of the site. You can get all the answers that you need right here.
Anything else you're looking at here on the in the content center this afternoon?
Yeah, we'll be ready to post all the reporter stories when they come in, and just whatever comes our way, we'll get it up.
Always have a full crew out and about gathering the news. Megan, thank you very much. Let's go back to our originally planned program here. I threw our director and our producer a loop for that one, so thanks everybody for hanging on tight. Let's head over to the assignment desk here and chat with Delilah, who's been looking into the topic of wildfire, something that is not uncommon here at the assignment desk.
Right.
You hear of new smoke calls, you hear of crews responding to scenes, but something different that's going on in the Beaver area right now, as we have the live look from our UDOT camera, is they have this team there that comes in post-fire, if you will, called the Bear Team.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's the Burn Area Emergency Response Team, and basically what they do is go in and assess how the infrastructure is going to handle if there's any flooding, where the debris flow would be, if there's any potential risks, and then they try to prevent that.
Soil testing, taking a look in between, you know, did this area burn, did this one not, what is the critical flow that could be of water? It is a whole science.
Yeah,
it's kind of fascinating.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
kind
then,
of like how to prevent, where to put the sandbags, that kind of stuff.
Sure, and you're taking a look right now at just some of those images of the report and such that's out there right now, but I mentioned here when I was walking over, this is a busy time of year for our assignment desk here in the hub of our newsroom, talking about fire, not just structure fires and vehicle fires and things that happen along the freeways, but wildfires. How do you track wildfires on the assignment desk here?
A lot of times we'll listen to whatever our meteorologists are saying, the potential areas where there might be a risk of like a thunderstorm that would cause some sort of wildfire. We listen to scanner chatter. Sometimes you'll see people or listen and hear people reporting if they're seeing something on the side of the road. Things like that are what we mostly listen to.
And what are you keeping an eye on as it pertains to fires right now? I know we don't necessarily have new starts today,
Right.
but are there some bigger incidents that you're keeping an eye on for updates and stuff because of those impacted communities?
Right now we're watching the monsoon weather that's coming up because there potential flash flooding in the Slate Canyons in southern Utah, and then also some thunderstorms in the areas where we have burn scars.
All right, Delilah, thank you very much. A conversation that we will have probably a number of times over the next few weeks or perhaps the next month and a half or so. Still ahead here on 2 News Live. We talked about this with meteorologist Chase Thomason. He will be kind enough to give us his time back, and we'll talk about daylight saving time. We'll talk about all of those things that go into the conversation of what happens next. What would things look like if we did this? And that is something we'll look into here with meteorologist Chase Thomason with an in-depth conversation coming up next.
From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
Time to take a look at what you're talking about on social media. 2 News listens to what you are saying and ultimately tries to get a little clarification or maybe some answers or add some context to some of those comments and some of those questions. And for this is always a talker. I mean, we could spend the entire half hour talking about daylight saving, NOS, and standard time with meteorologist Chase Thomas. I'm glad we did because this is something that has come up in social chats and everything, and people are wondering, will this be the year? Will this be the year where things change? It obviously has to make its way through certain channels and governmental agencies to see what happens.
It passed the House, right? So the Senate needs to pass, so we'll see what happens with that. But it is a big talker. People are really passionate. Don't change the clocks, stay on standard time, stay on daylight saving time. So I just want to show you what that actually could mean for Salt Lake City. Behind my shoulder, you'll be able to see what that means when it comes to standard time and daylight time. Now, if it was going to stay standard time, now they did not pass that. They passed it staying on daylight time. But that would mean our sunrise during the summer would be very early, just below 5 a.m., and our sunset would be just after 8 o'clock. So that would be a different change because typically we are on daylight saving time during the summer, right? What the big change would be that you would probably know, especially as maybe a dad, is taking your kid to school in the morning, right? If we stay on daylight saving time, our sunrise would be at 8:48 a.m. Brian, what time do you take your kid to school?
Yeah, it'd be 8:15, so I would be driving there in the dark and dropping off in the dark, and that would be very interesting.
However, that would mean, though, our sunset is an hour later.
So there's the trade-off.
We would have more daylight, 6 o'clock, instead of what we're typically used to just after 5 o'clock in December.
How many years have you been addressing this? I mean, you grew up in Utah. You've been here sharing the forecast and studying and sharing science with viewers all across the state for a number of years. But how many years have you been answering these questions on social media from people?
Well, I've been doing this for about, 16 years now, so probably 16 years. I will say, though, I think folks in Utah might be a little bit more passionate about these times than maybe other states. I was trying to think maybe the reason why. I think maybe because our friends down in Arizona,
they've got it.
Right? We're so close to Arizona, they're just like, we're done with this. We're doing it our way, and that's what they've been doing for a while.
Yeah, and that's a topic of conversation. Even when we have people visit, I have to ask them, what time is it where you are? And I feel like I could just use the Google machine and figure it out myself. But maybe this will help people have a better understanding of where we will go in the future here. This is our viewer poll, by the way, today, Chase. When would you rather have an extra hour of sunlight? Majority are saying more daylight in the evening. So while I was just using the example of, driving the kiddo to school in the morning, it sounds like most of you would rather have that extra time after the 9 to 5 or whatever that looks like to take the dog for a walk.
That's why we changed the clocks, though.
Yes.
Right? So that is specifically the reason why we do it. I know it's not fun going to bed and changing the clocks and all that, and you lose the hour of sleep or you gain the hour of sleep, but there is a reason why we do it. Now, does it make sense? That's up for debate.
All right, Chase, thank you very much. Something that we will talk a lot more about over the course of the coming days and weeks as we take a live look in southern Utah for you this afternoon, just shy of 4 o'clock here on 2 News Live at 3:30. Daylight saving time, it has to go to the next steps to have that conversation and see what will happen. And I imagine we will have snags along the way because of just kind of this very interesting conversation where people do not love change. And that normally means we're going to get a little loud about it. Here's a live look in our nation's capital. Once again this afternoon, it is 2 hours ahead, so they are just shy of 6 o'clock local time there in the Eastern time zone. Another thing that people are talking about immediately after this was put out. I mean, the comments here were bonkers because of the obvious. We're talking about this coin you see on your screen right now. It is a new featuring President Trump being made for America's 250th anniversary. So check it out. It's already sparking a lot of debate on the socials as we've seen the president and his face on a lot of things over the course of his presidencies. And this is another piece of that. The Treasury has to say about this that this is all about history and patriotism. Another thing I want to share with you here that we just learned on social media was some reaction from a famous author that has inspired motion pictures. His name is Stephen King. Any book readers out there? Anyone ever, picked up one of these books? How many does he have? Hundreds? Well, one of these books was a recent banned book in the state of Utah in our schools. And here is what Stephen King had to say just about an hour ago or so on social media. They banned different seasons in Utah. Contains Stand By Me, The Shawshank Redemption, stories of friendship and courage, readable by teens too. What is wrong with these people? Well, we have an article up on our website right now that actually has a little bit more about this, but also has the other banned books in some of the districts that they are banned in specifically, kind of where the root of this was. The ban took effect after 4 districts removed the book. And that list right now, if you'd like to see it for yourself, go to KUTV.com. A lot of people are seeing this article because someone named Stephen King is talking about Utah and how students cannot read his literature. By the way, those books that are contained in and those stories in obviously inspired motion pictures. So there was that a lot of people have seen, mostly adults.